first reader is Jonathan Penton. He's the editor of Unlikely Stories. He has several chapbooks that have included Prosthetic Gods by Main City Books, Last Chap by Virgin Press, and then Blood and Salsa. His latest book is Standards of Sadiddy. And so he is going to read here today for us, so please welcome Jonathan Penton.
This is called The Way Buckeyes and Buds Taste Just Like the Lone Star. This is not a crowd of natives, but have you had a Lone Star beer? Have you had Buckeye beer in Ohio? All right, they're the same beer. It's an amazing thing. So yeah. The way Buckeyes and Buds taste just like the Lone Star.
So the ink-stained asphalt stretched before me, neath that dotted yellow line, sleeping like a leather dom who never looks inside. And all the stars came out to celebrate my reminiscing in every place that is deserted, all the places that are brave. And once I saw 1,000 points of light when all the cigarettes could burn in unison. So I sat down with O'Reilly in Montezuma's bed to dream the sweet, hard heart of Staten Island on game night. I wrapped my lips around Indians east and west who tried to teach me to love folks who weren't like me. Then sank my thumbs into Schenectady mud, back to when I never loved no folks at all. I don't mean to get political. It's just Great Uncle Jack told us to travel like a child, even after Burroughs shot that hole in Grandma's head.
What the roads are paved with. I tell myself it matters what I notice. That be I pardoned or be punished, reflection gives our tale some depth. I act as though an inner deity observes, judging the banal self-analyses behind the toy box on your shelf. I write as though cruelty could have a context, and my invocation of cliché imbues me with a right. And although it is a waste of time to chronicle this madness, it is equally foolish to try to catalog the same who sit with their birthdays and their known truths outside of things. When there's a common fire inside my body, laughing at public soliloquies, and how the sure thing crumbles in Los Angelian slime, like forgetting, like the sole purpose of memory, like the way our heart's intention is to find a way to stop.
This is called Charles Bukowski's greatest mistake. Coffee by day, tequila by night, clear the putty from the washing machine hose, change the lock on the daughter's door, argue your parking rights with the city employee, and tell the neighbor why his cousin's in jail. The computers you hate to talk back to us now, and the bills you avoided come in a net made of gold. Lovers strategize like a mayor on parole, and we no longer notice when we go to war. It is war all the time. It always was. And when Bukowski tapes are rolling, we are all beating your woman, though we aren't too young for justice and won't grow too old for chaos, and you were always full of shit. That shit that always hits the fan. Still, you can spot a pacifist when he won't quit after the armistice, because every poet's just a militant looking for a weapon he won't have to put down. It is your war, Charles Bukowski. We lost when you forgot it was on.
This is called From Whom I Ask the Favor. And I don't have a fortress. I just have a paradox in which the devil cannot find a place to set down his ground rules. And I hide in self-perception like the Minotaur's hot breath proceeding from Blavatsky's table where she keeps the hand grenades. And I call this security, though I know how lost I am. And I call myself triumphant because this maze will outlive me, standing naked as a heart attack between radiant leaves of weed. This is the Morgan City Motel Blues. I'm struggling with white bread. It's filling each cavity, what you eat when you can't afford cotton. when you're sick upon the pride and marijuana cocktail that prevents you from returning to the rig. I'm filled with the emptiness that fills me with indigestibles that make the effort of ramen offensive. Jeffrey's sandwiches are cane syrup and organic peanut butter, some sort of neo-pagan-inspired rejection of this dewatered reality. Caitlin sneers and eats the toothpaste.
This is Cold North. It's about El Paso, Texas. It refers to Montana. That would be Montana Street, which is US 90. You could take Montana Street all the way from El Paso to here. If you're white and really clean cut, and you really shouldn't do it even then, but you could. It's Cold North. And the fields of tar are breaking under copper smelting towers, and if you ask if you can cut me to make our photos just pyrite. And I grab hold of these fences still formed from Ocotillo, and I try to wrap up in them, but they don't think they're part of this, so don't do anything at all. We head east on Montana, back to your mother's bedroom, where she's laid out all her gree-gree in hope of keeping me away. And you get out your tattoo gun and you promise me Picasso, but it seems my back's forgotten, so my hands best push you anywhere but here, where I can see the scar across your neck, the one that tangle webs in all directions, like something no doctor has the fingertips to do. And it seems my back has lost a great deal more than your tattoo gun, which didn't work much better than the spine you still must keep. Outside, the dust storm is starting. The sky is falling down in daylight, and we should scamper to lower ground. Though we know we'll never make it before the gray and brown surround the way our eyes forget the sunset, our hands forget the how of when we climb those yielding rocks, those pieces pointed skyward to see this tapestry of femicide, a map of smallpox comforts, dust embedded in our teeth. Because if my hands are forgetful, I think my mouth remembers how you begged it to cut you to get the glamour shot just right. And I would have you die and beat me like a Fonte heroine. So please, please, when you read to me, put down the earnest gains. So in Ohio, I lived in a place called the Collingwood Arts Center. It's in Toledo, and the Collingwood Arts Center is a nunnery. A really old nunnery that eventually was purchased by this art center. They used to allow artists to rent rooms there. They don't anymore, but essentially what you could do, you could rent a nun cell starting at $75 a month when I was there, and this was in the 21st century. It was at $75 a month, that was a great way for artists to live without the distraction of having a day job and just have the distraction of living with 100 other artists. There was a river of ecstasy and about a suicide attempt a week. I'm told that's a vast improvement from 2 years before when it was a river of heroin. So this is called the nunnery.
And we are building a new religion, but not all with the same gods. And we are sleeping in this nunnery where no vow of silence ever meant as much as the lunatic pounding the piano with a perfect sense of tempo, but no desire for grace. The ringmaster is warning of the dangers of gossip while sucking off the cultist who's got no place to stay. The opera singer is warning me not to wear my glasses because the doctors are conspiring to eliminate my race. And I'm okay. And it's a Lake Erie winter, but I have a mattress and a cell that's really quite warm. And I've got a couple 40s stored right outside this window where the architecture rises like tin shorn drunks on minarets, tumbling towards Bethlehem against a bullet-ridden sigh, while your dreams stay in the basement where they kept the pregnant sisters, waiting for the capricious millennium to be born. Do you remember the night he called you names? Do you remember the names he called you, the names you called you, names you struggled so hard to abandon, worked so hard to earn? Now you're fragile as a straight flush, counting and writing backwards, erecting your defenses in your empire's building of state, like that torch-wielding seamstress who knows only she has power to spike the tourists and New Havenites peddling in the park. Turning your skin to Pepto-Bismol since your heart will always burn. Can you remember the truth behind the mania? before civility and sympathy made you competent, at the interactions you know full well don't matter, before adulthood found you burying the furies you need most. If parts of our love are true, we are still both liars, as was every charming prince who sullied our dark names. And if beauty is something real, we will still die ugly, finally forgetting our glory and our shame. So let us not pretend that mortal love is holy, or that this blessing of our union makes it perfect. And let us not retreat into the fantasies we share, lest close attention reveal them as the little things they are. Darling, we have learned of the wars within and without us. We know that victory is something none can justly claim. So let us learn to make love with the darkling plain. It's the only love we have left. This is called the poem written inside McDonald's within a Walmart.
Now, the Walmart in question is on the west side of El Paso, Texas. There is no west side to El Paso, Texas. West of El Paso, Texas is the Rio Grande, and west of the Rio Grande is Juarez. It is incredibly important for the El Pasoan, Texan, and American imagination that we forget Juarez exists. So the north side of El Paso, as you go up the Rio Grande, the north side of El Paso is called the west side, and the east side is southeast of that. The poem, written inside McDonald's within Walmart, the McDonald's in question, as is the Walmart, is open 24 hours. So if you ever find yourself on the west side of El Paso, you know where to go. I had to pull off the road, he told me. I was so excited, so happy. All at once, I realized that eventually, everyone I hated was going to die. And I thought that our love would live forever, so I wrote a poem to wish it goodbye. This paper will crumble, the words forgotten, the hard drive deleted, the internet obsoleted, the electrons rendered inert. The institutions that bring you such power, such terror, won't be a footnote in an unremembered text, while the gods of your forefathers remain immortal, as long as your fantasies stay naif. But you were never a naif. Still I believe you are holy, that the holy and unholy die, that nothing that dies is unholy. And I believe you have power to reach everything that's long since gone, to embrace what will happen tomorrow. And if these beliefs leave me grasping for fantasies my mind will reject, I'll treat this Walmart as something greater than myself and pretend human failures require historical context.